The C3 Agentic AI platform is a comprehensive capability to fuse and unify data across multiple sources. You can describe the full end-to-end of data products, use cases, agentic processes, all using the same semantic concept.
It sounds like it unlocks rapid time to value for those use cases and therefore unlocking that return on investment.
Enterprises will be able to staff teams of subject matter experts who might be able to write their own AI by interacting with these kind of AI agents.
I'm looking forward to having agents and humans work together to solve these challenges. Hi everyone, welcome back to our series. I'm Pauline Brunet and I'm joined today by Nikhil Krishnan, who's our SVP and CTO.
Hi, Pauline.
Hi Nikhil, welcome, thanks for joining me. I have a couple questions for you. I'm looking to get a little bit more familiar with C3 Agentic AI platform and C3 AI Studio. What is it and how is it differentiated than other services and platforms out on the market?
Thank you. So the C3 AI platform, the C3 Agentic AI platform, is basically a comprehensive capability to fuse and unify data across multiple sources, apply AI agents to unlock insights, and then develop, provision, and operate very large-scale AI applications or use cases. The C3 AI Studio is really the portal into the platform. So it's an interface for all of the platform APIs and services. Using the C3 AI Studio, you can interact with the platform using low-code tools, as well as launch high-code capabilities to access the various development and operational services of the C3 Agentic AI platform. What's really interesting about the C3 AI Agentic AI platform relative to many of the other platforms and services is the core IP we have developed in the C3 AI type system. So this C3 AI type system is really a metadata description, a domain-specific language to describe data, data products, business concepts, business objects, application concepts, data processing concepts, agentic AI concepts, machine learning concepts, all in one kind of holistic semantic layer. And I think that's really what is uniquely differentiating about the C3 Agentic AI platform versus many other technologies, is you can describe the full end-to-end of data products, of use cases, of AI agents, of agentic processes, of AI applications, all using the same semantic concept. This offers us a lot of reusability. So you can describe concepts once in a business and then reuse them in other parts of the business. It also offers a speed to actual production use case or production applications, because we can, in many cases, pre-build or pre-package these semantic objects or semantic ontologies to describe applications. We've built hundreds of them at C3 AI. Those can be very rapidly deployed, data integrated, configured, ML models tuned, AI agents set up to unlock business value at scale. Or you can do the same thing on your own. You can build from scratch and build things relatively quickly. And then most importantly, you can maintain them. And so it's not about building that AI capability the first time or setting up those agents the first time. It's how you actually maintain those capabilities over time.
It sounds like it unlocks rapid time to value for those use cases and therefore unlocking sort of that return on investment that people are expecting from those applications and those use cases they want to solve. Tell me a little bit about vibe coding, right? How is that different from a production grade application at scale? What do you need to get there and how do we unlock that?
So on vibe coding, I mean, it's an interesting idea, right? You can describe your application or your use case or your demo or your website in natural language, and these systems can interact with you. They can build code snippets. You can package those code snippets just talking to the agents, talking to the LLM, using the code editor of your choice and the vibe coding agents of your choice, and build some pretty neat products without being too technically if you will, advanced in your skill set. You can build pretty cool prototypes or proofs of concepts. What's problematic about vibe coding is it is a rapid path to building prototypes or proof of concepts, but not a way where you can actually build production scale applications easily. For example, the databases, they're also not real databases behind vibe coded products. And in most production applications, you might need not only one database, but multiple databases. You need production quality, if you will, hardening of those databases. You need encryption of the underlying data. You need all of the other application services for high availability, for elastic scale out. A vibe coded system often doesn't give you those capabilities. They're often just backed by, either, in UI JSON files, one-time data loads, or technologies like Supabase underneath the hood. And so that's really the problem with the vibe coded systems is you code them, you interact with the vibe coding system once, you build these prototypes, but then you have to rebuild them again in order to take them to production.
Amir and I were discussing earlier about how user access management is missing, how you can't really build feature engineering and actually do any sort of AI machine learning at scale with these vibe coded applications as well. So thanks for highlighting that. Many companies are building this and piecing these together, building their own. What is the appeal to using C3 AI and what we developed instead of building your own internal solution?
I think it goes back to the concepts we were describing before. The biggest advantage to building on a technology like C3 AI is you have very powerful abstractions. And so that gives you, first of all, a lot of reusability. Once I build certain data concepts, data objects, business objects, I can reuse them in multiple parts of my business with relative ease. I can take, if I'm describing a factory or if I'm describing a supplier, I'm describing a material, I can reuse those descriptions in other parts of my business. So I get this, if you will, cascading impact of these abstractions and benefits of these abstractions over time. Second is I don't have to actually worry about the underlying technical implementation of most of the work that I'm doing in developing AI applications, use cases, or data products. I can interact with the C3 AI system with the semantic models through AI Studio or through our low code or through our high code interfaces in C3 AI Studio. And this offers me a way of very quickly, or of speed, if you will, to development, to build my applications, to build my data products, to build my use cases very quickly, versus having to laboriously, if you will, code against the underlying native or lower level platform services that are offered on the cloud products or offered using open source technologies or third-party technologies. So that stitching together, that plumbing, is already done by the C3 Agentic AI platform and accessible through Studio.
Perfect. Sounds like a lot of different profiles like data scientists, developers, data engineers, ML engineers can collaborate, and business users can collaborate on the platform to take these applications to production.
That's right. So you have teams of multiple skill sets coming together on the C3 AI platform to build use cases, to build products, whether they're data products or whether they're simple use cases, business use cases, whether it's just using agents to unlock value from your data, or very sophisticated use cases, or taking one of the C3 AI applications and customizing it on the platform. These teams can come together to work on the C3 AI technology stack and greatly accelerate their progress relative to using open source, where you would probably need many more people across those cross-functional teams working for much longer to get to that same to that same, if you will, endpoint. But then the development is only the start. After you develop, you have to maintain that application or that use case or the data product over time. And I think that's where C3 AI truly shines, is because not only can you build it that first time, much faster, you can actually upgrade it, you can manage it, you can maintain it, you can fix bugs, you can patch things, you can monitor things. So we offer the full kind of holistic life cycle of the product that you're trying to build.
Tell me a little bit about looking ahead. What's next? How do you see the industry moving? Where do you see C3 Agentic AI platform and C3 AI Studio moving towards? Tell me a little bit about that.
I see a few different vectors. The first one that I'm super excited about is this concept of agentic process automation or workflows. A lot of what humans do in the concept of business is actually collaborate with each other to get work done. And it's collaborating with other humans. It's also collaborating with underlying software systems. So whether it's querying data, working through review processes, handing work off from one person to another, one team to another, finally completing a process and getting back to a customer, or getting back to fixing a machine, or getting back to tuning a manufacturing process, whatever it might be. But these are often complex, multi-step workflows backed by systems of record like an SAP or an Oracle, or backed by underlying technologies like a Snowflake or a Databricks today. What really excites me about AI agents is the ability to start to automate a lot of that manual work, but automate it in a very intelligent way. And the last generation of automation we saw in this space was really robotic process automation, which was really taking those human steps and trying to encode a rules-based system to actually automate that. But these systems often get very complicated very fast, and they have tons of exceptions. So you end up with yet another system that a lot of humans have to staff to manage all of those exceptions and to manage all of those escalations. And so you have these problems of poor customer service, for example, where you're really stuck in a customer queue trying to get response from a call center, or you can't get your needs resolved as a customer without escalations to managers. Or same in terms of scheduling work for internal processes, or managing your suppliers, onboarding suppliers, these very rigid workflows that require tons of human intervention. Now, what excites me with the AI agents is we can take the brains of the AI system and encode them in the context. We can redesign these workflows and put these AI systems in net new work that is actually much more compact, much more efficient, much more automated. And the AIs can reason around the edges. They don't have to follow rigid rules, but they can start to solve 80, 90+% of the work, and just have humans watch over them, or have humans just required to solve, if you will, the escalations that the AI systems can't. So I think that offers an opportunity to transform all aspects of the business: sales, marketing, customer service, core operations, supply chains, manufacturing, all of these functions, as well as back-end business support functions, finance, HR, IT, can all be transformed using AI agents, because it brings the best of agentic AI together with the rule following that we need in business work. So I think that's number one thing that excites me. A second thing that's greatly exciting to me is where all of this is going with self-service. So we talked about vibe coding. What I'm really excited about is the next generation. I don't want to call it vibe coding, but it's really interactive coding, or natural language, if you will, coding of real systems, not just prototypes. So interact with a system like C3 AI in natural language, and have it build you an end-to-end production grade application or use case or data product or workflow just by talking to it. So everything from the data fusion, reasoning about the source data, profiling the source data, transforming or virtualizing that into an application object model, storing optionally those data in multiple databases, applying business logic rules, configuring UI, configuring workflows on top of that, all done through natural language, and a kind of natural language to production grade system. I think that's the second thing that I think is greatly exciting to me. A third thing is more enhancements on some of the vectors we've already been seeing, right? Better agents for insight generation, better agents interacting with data, just using natural language. I think we're going to see a lot of improvements there. We're going to see a lot of improvements in specific use cases that we're already engaged in, everything from supply chain, sourcing optimization, production planning, production optimization, scheduling, things like that. And then what really I see as the next generation of AI is also using agents to build algorithms. And I think this world is coming. We're furiously working on some of this stuff. We already have published agentic time series capabilities where we are using foundation models to actually embed and encode sensor data. We've already done some seminal work in the application of AI agents to actually author optimization and scheduling algorithms on the fly, as well as the ability for agents to write simulations on the fly. So now imagine that humans are interacting with AI agents, and AI agents are actually authoring other, more bespoke, smaller algorithms for you, whether it's classification, regression, anomaly detection, simulation, optimization. And I see that as the kind of really the next frontier of AI ML, and ushering in kind of a new wave of productivity, because then enterprises will be able to staff teams of subject matter experts who might be able to write their own AI by interacting with these kind of AI agents. And that's going to be pretty cool.
Thanks, Nikhil. I'm looking forward to having agents and humans work together to solve these challenges.